Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're listening from. So, today we are going to talk about reinventing yourself at 50. And this is a topic that I've been wanting to talk about because, yeah, I know for me, I get stuck in my ways, I get stuck in my thinking process. And as we get older, we really need to reinvent ourselves. My mom used to say, and this is why I got this is where I got the topic from. My mom used to say, Angela, when I'm in my 30s and my 40s, you need to always be reinventing yourself. I didn't know what she was talking about. I had no idea. And I was like, okay, mom, yeah, yeah, yeah. Then I hit my 50s and I was like, you know what? It's time. It's time to really start rethinking how I am viewing life and how I am viewing myself. And I do have a guest. I told her, I said, I'm not going to call you my guest because you're not my guest. I have my co host. She's going to be coming on, and we are going to talk about this reinventing, redefining, whatever you want to call it. We are going to talk about this because she is definitely a woman who has reinvented herself. But before we get started, let me introduce myself. Welcome to Unapologetically 50 Plus, where we talk about the real, raw, and rewarding experiences of Black women 50 and beyond. Now, normally I would have my husband alongside with me, and we would talk about or marriage and relationship topics. But today we are going to dive into something a little different. I've decided to go ahead and expand the podcast to talk to women in this beautiful age range and just, discuss all topics that pertain to this new time in our life. And hopefully, this will help if you're in your 40s or even in your 30s, ladies. Hopefully, you'll learn something just as I hope to learn something from women who are older than me. We hope that you learn something from us as well. So, and I'm sorry, my name is Angela. I am a marriage and relationship coach and a published author. So please, if you find any value in this content, please subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification, and help us build this community. All right. So let me bring on my beautiful co-host and my business partner, Miss KATRECE Avery, aka Colorblind by Noni.
Hey, hey.
Hey, beautiful. How you doing?
I am doing marvelous here in North Carolina.
It's cold out there in them streets, huh?
It's cold out here in these streets. So
Well, I mean,
if I
I
sniffle,
know,
that's
I
part of
know.
why.
You've been sniffling since you left California. So,
Yeah, and it's like, oh, the hawk is really out here. So
yeah,
yeah.
I don't know how you doing it. But I mean,
Hey,
it's
I'm
worth
doing
it
it by
because
hanging out with a beautiful grandbaby. So that's
that's what
it.
I was gonna say. That man, he's a little cutie pie.
Oh, oh my goodness. Yes. Yes.
So we are here, and I thank you for coming on last minute. We are here to talk about reinventing ourselves at 50 and Black women, particularly Black women. That's what it's all about when I put this whole podcast together is really delving in and talking to Black women about this change in our lives. It's a beautiful change. It's a challenging change, but it's still a change nonetheless. Getting older is, I got my vintage shirt on. See, it says vintage, made in 1966. So yeah, I
You
want
got
to
your
talk
vintage.
about
I got
this.
my Blacknificent shirt on. So
Oh,
we
look at
like
you.
minds, think alike.
Right, right. So when we talk about reinventing ourselves, we want to take this opportunity as Black women to step out of the roles that no longer serve us because we get stuck in them roles and then we figure that's just the way life is going to be. And no, we need to rediscover what makes us come alive and reclaim that joy and that purpose in our lives.
And reinvention is essential for Black women. We have spent years prioritizing others, and
Yep,
it's now a time to reclaim our time, energy, and purpose unapologetically. At
exactly.
50 and beyond, it's the perfect time to explore new opportunities. We can talk about that because I sure did. And
Yeah.
step away from roles that no longer serve you, embracing a life that aligns with your true self. Oh, and I can talk about that one too.
And that's what I want to start with before we start getting into the hows and the whys. I wanted, because like I said in the beginning of the intro, your reinvention, your transformation was amazing. And I watched you from leaving a job, from leaving corporate America to going into a business where there's not a lot of Black women. You got your certification, and what was your certification in?
I was a Scrum Master and a Scrum Project Manager.
But you also did something. You also got
Coaching.
coaching. Yeah, you did
Yeah.
you got your
I'm a
certification in
certified
coaching.
IFC coach. Yes.
Yeah. And you became an
An
artist.
artist.
Right.
Who knew?
So
Who
you
knew?
really, who knew?
That
I
wasn't on
mean,
my bingo card. Please no. Please.
but
That
you
one
did
wasn't on
it.
my bingo card.
But you did it, and that's what I'm saying. When we talk about reinventing, you did that probably not thinking that you were going to, I know you stepped away from, and also, okay, wait a minute, hold on. She also makes these bracelets, y'all. I'm sorry. I just have to, because she always coming in with so she's very creative. And that's a part of reinventing ourselves. It's like, okay, what creative skills do I have? What do I want to pursue? What brings joy back into my life? And so, again, tell us your story
My
and
story.
why and
Okay.
why.
So I am a very creative individual, and I spent a lot of my years using that creativity towards my children. I have 4 beautiful grown children, now 6 grandchildren. But when they were younger, I directed my creativity towards them. I mean, crochet, quilt, picture pillows, design clothing, remodel homes,
Yeah.
design the interior of homes. And once they grew up and it was just me, and I mean just me, it was like, what am I going to do? What do I do? And it's interesting, for a while, my creativity was dormant. And it
Mm.
actually kind of started a little bit with the bracelets. I've been making these bracelets for at least 15 years.
Oh, okay.
Most people don't realize that. I have
Mhm.
my jars of beads and I just make them for myself, or at the time, staff retreats. That was the cool gift. Get your next custom bracelet by me.
Right.
Um, but leaving corporate America with the jolt that I did go through really made me do some self-reflection
Mhm.
and some sitting with the muck and the mire.
So, real quick, how old were you when you left your
Oh
job?
gosh, that was
You were in your 50s,
2021.
right?
Yeah, it was 2021. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
56 now, so 3 years, 53.
Yeah. And now, I mean, I'm sure that was hard, because that was not what you anticipated. You thought you were gonna be there
I thought I was gonna be
still.
there a couple more years. I always wanted to branch off onto my own, but I was
Oh,
still laying the foundation. I enjoyed that steady paycheck, the benefits,
right.
all the
Right.
things. Oh, shoot. Um, but the real of it is, and I'm learning this now, what I did is rare, because so many people do get comfortable with that steady paycheck and those benefits. And
Yeah.
because of that, we tend to accept a lot of crap that we don't have to.
Right.
And I got fed up with the crap I was dealing with. And literally, I'll say it. I was an IT director. I went into the meeting and I said, effective immediately, I quit.
Mm.
Mic
Mm.
drop. And they were
I'm
like, oh,
sure.
yeah, when we meet tomorrow, when we meet after this meeting, I was like, effective immediately.
Right. You didn't hear me.
You
You
didn't hear
didn't
me.
hear me. Let me say it again.
Effective immediately. I'm out. And so um, that was a big, huge leap of faith. It really was.
'Cause I remember when
And
you
I
told
had
me
already
that.
been dabbling with my art.
Mhm.
Um, and I was doing my art for myself, and people who wanted to just encourage me, they would buy, I charge minimal fees. But once I did that, it allowed me to truly focus on me. So I built my IT consulting business. I built up my art. I built up, but I also started doing more stuff for me. Like 2022, I traveled. I was gone most of that year traveling.
Right. Yeah.
So it
So
just was about, it's time. As my daughters tease me, you living your best life. Yes.
right, that's right.
Living, because there was
Exactly.
a song, living your best life, but
Mhm.
you're living your best life. But it was also about living for me.
Right. And what made so when you think about or when you talk about your art, what made you decide to pursue that? What was the catalyst that made you start doing that? Because your art is amazing, but it was again reinventing you because you weren't doing art. You weren't thinking about art on this level.
I wasn't thinking about art at all. I
Okay.
was not thinking about art at all. Basically, my art came about from a broken heart.
Mhm.
Um, when the COVID hit, I was sheltering in place in London. And in London, I was painting these giant terracotta pots. The art store was open out there, and it took a lot of time. You can't do much. So you need to find things to do.
Right.
And so I started painting pots. When I came back to the United States for the birth of my third grandchild, um, we broke up. And I had all of these emotions and all of this energy I didn't know what to do with. So
Right.
my mind went, I enjoy painting those pots. Pots are cumbersome. Maybe I can just paint pictures for my grandchildren because they call
Right.
me Nani.
Mhm.
And so I went to Joann's and I was going to use Sharpies because most acrylic paints, they're not opaque. And I am colorblind. And I realized a long time ago, the lighter the like watercolors, they're too
Right.
muted for me. So I asked the lady, does acrylic paint finally get opaque the first pass? She says, well, there's these pins that if you use them, they use them on rocks. I used two
Oh,
because people paint rocks for fun.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I bought two and my
Mhm.
Sharpies. I ended up going back to the store next day and bought every color they had. And I started painting pictures for my grandchildren. And that's why it's signed Nani. And
Mhm.
um, by the end of that year, that was 2020, I did 132 paintings from July 1st to December 31st. And I had
Mhm.
COVID towards the end of that year. So I probably would have did more if I hadn't gotten really sick. So my kids were like, Mom, what are you gonna do with all these paintings? In fact, that's one of them that I did for my son
Uh-huh.
behind me.
Yeah.
Those are two that I did that year. Those are 2020 originals. But they were like, what are you gonna do with all these paintings? I said, paper my walls. I don't know.
That's something.
I don't know. It was because truthfully, that's about reinvention. I didn't do
Mhm.
my art to make money. I didn't do my art because, I want to be an artiste. My art was therapy for me.
Right.
It released so many emotions and it became a voice. And
Mhm.
so my oldest at the time, she started being my manager. I would love a manager. So if any of y'all managers, because I run my own business. I don't want to run my art as a business. So I would like someone else to run it. But it
Exactly.
started that way. And then I'm creative. So then it was like not mastered, but how do you draw an eye? How do you draw a nose? How do you draw a mouth? How do you make it more realistic? How do you do shading? And with the pens, it was harder. Plus,
Mhm.
they only had brown and dark brown at the time.
Mhm.
Our melanin comes in so many hues and colors. Brown and
Right.
dark brown was not enough.
Right.
So I started experimenting with oil paints to change, and it does. I lay down. So basically, I lay down the foundation with Posca acrylic paint pens because
Mm.
I'm able to see the color.
Mhm.
Then I can manipulate it with oil paint. Then in Miami, 2 years ago, 2022, I saw a textured artist and they just did a shape, but it came off the canvas. And I was like, how can I do that with hair? Because our hair is fabulous. Whether it's straight, braided, locks, it's
Right.
fabulous. So I was able to, I don't give away my secret, but I was able to manipulate the drywall in a
Mhm.
way for our hair to pop on my paintings. And then I just keep experimenting, whether it's with crystals or with wood or with rubber or plastic, or doesn't matter. I
Right,
have fun.
right. And with that growth, because I've seen your paintings grow, over the years, but with that growth, what how did that help you with your painting growing? How did that help you grow as a woman in her 50s? How did that really help you mature, grow, look at life differently? What was
So it's funny because I was talking to a gallery owner this week,
Mhm,
and she said it. I am a statement artist, statement piece artist.
mhm,
I mean, I have my fun pieces, but I
mhm.
like creating pieces that make a statement, that make you think, that
Okay.
voice what's going on in this world, especially in the Black dysphoria. So,
Mhm.
what art has allowed me to do, like Their Last Supper, what art has allowed me to do is, I mean, you're 50. I can't believe you're older than me. But anyway, Miss, who celebrated a birthday recently. What I'm saying is, though, when you hit 50, at least to me, you don't give a crap about others. You put yourself first. It's like, this is what I have to say, and I'm going to say it.
Imma
And my
say it.
art allows me to do that. If it makes you, even if you don't like it, if it made you stop and think, then I did my job.
Yeah.
And it allows me a voice along a bigger stage than, say, if I was just at home. So it gave me a bigger voice.
And we talked about when you left corporate America, and because it wasn't serving you anymore, your job was not serving you anymore, and you stepped out into a field, meaning a career field that is not dominated by Black women.
Oh, it's not dominated by people of color, period. I mean, in
Yeah,
2021, the numbers were, it was 94% white male.
okay.
That's 6% the rest of us. Now, it
Right,
might have
right,
creeped up a little bit, but I'm one of the rest of us.
right,
which
right,
is
and it's even
which is very small, and it's a very male dominated space, and
right,
even some of us will take on those characteristics. And I mean, for me, I still deal with it, but I love tech. And
mhm,
so I try to bring tech to people in a relatable way, because we all know more tech than we think we know. But we
right,
have dealt with some tech person who talked down to us, who spoke over us, who made us feel, oh, she don't know.
yeah,
Instead of talking to us like, you can do this. Tech is your friend. Technology is something that you need to embrace, because we are in the 21st century where iRobot is walking down the street due to Elon Musk,
right, and
his
that's
robots.
and that's what I was gonna say also with you being in, being in tech, being a Black woman in tech, being a Black woman in her 50s in tech, that really is what you're doing also helps us women in particular, feel more comfortable because I know with you and I, you are very, very good at what you do. You're very patient, and it just makes learning about technology easier because I see someone who looks like me, meaning a Black woman in her 50s, doing this tech thing, doing this art thing, reinventing who she was when when she was married,
I
before
was
she was
married. I
married
was a Stepford
and with
wife.
children, so you
Yes.
have reinvented that, and that's what's so important, and we have to remember as Black women that we have to continue to reinvent ourselves. Don't let okay, I'm 50 and then, that's it. That's the end of my life. No. And that's what I'm finding so inspiring because I've talked to a number of women who will be on the podcast talking to me and talking about this very thing, just being a woman in our 50s. And it's been very inspiring. And I have just chatting with them, on the meetings, and I'm just like, wow, there's so much knowledge and wisdom out there. And then it's very, I really enjoy talking to all these women, and I'm really excited about bringing them on and letting people hear that just because we're in our 50s don't mean, and beyond, don't
Mhm.
mean that we're sitting down and we're just going to sit around and be grandparents and not live our best lives. And that's that. No, no. No, not at all. So for me, and you've seen me transform, um,
Absolutely.
it
You
was,
transformed by writing. You wrote a book. You didn't
I
know how
did.
to write a book.
I
You
wrote a
wrote your
book.
own book.
Hmm.
You started Love Park Connection. You had an
Right.
idea and you took it and you brought it to life.
And
You've
that's,
left corporate America,
yeah, not by choice, but
but you still, but
I
again,
left. Right.
even if it's not by choice, you didn't rush back into another corporate gig. You figured it
No,
out on your own.
figured it out. Right. Right. And that was the other thing I was going to say when I started the podcast. Um, I had some emotional and some fears that I had to get past, and you helped me through that. But it was changing a whole mindset about, okay, being in front of the camera, talking to people, talking to folks I don't know anything, I don't know, but doing this was a huge endeavor and a fear I really had to get past, but that was part of my transformation. That was part of my reinventing me and seeing what else can I do? What else can I challenge myself on? So that was a change. And even not considering or worrying about, okay, is this going to make sense? Everybody else is doing this, because that's the way we think. We start thinking, well, everybody else is already doing it. Why would anybody want to listen to me? And it's still, sometimes it gets frustrating, as as an artist, when you think you got this amazing piece and nobody buys it. That's how I feel sometimes. You too.
I have amazing pieces.
You do. You
I
do.
have
She has
amazing pieces
amazing
that
people.
have not been purchased and they are
Right.
available for purchase. But I will say it to you what was told to me and what I actually saw. Because one, the universe gives you signs. Whether you believe in the universe, God, spirit, whatever it will give you
Right.
signs. And one of the signs is I saw a post and an art gallery told me. But basically, like one of the great artists like Leonardo da Vinci, for their 100 masterpieces, they did thousands of paintings.
Yeah.
And then each art piece has an owner.
Mm. Yeah.
It might have several people who want to buy it or several
Mhm.
owners, but each art piece has its own individual owner. So
Right.
one artist, I heard a story of the art gallery artist said, "Oh yeah, your piece sold," and he was like, "Oh, that piece finally sold," and she was like, "Finally?" He said, "That piece is 14 years old."
Wow.
He said that
Okay.
piece finally found its owner. So that gave me some peace, and it slowed me down a little bit because I mean, my storage is full of, I don't need a storage brimming to the walls with pieces, but
With pieces, right. We wanna
I
sell
want to
those.
sell too. However, it allows me the creativity to experiment more because I know
Mhm.
what I can create.
Right.
And then I also know where I want to push myself. So yes, reinventing yourself, it gives you those signs to let you know you're on the right path, even if it doesn't look like it.
And have you with your growth in your art, has that also been kind of parallel to your growth as a woman?
Yes, because I will tell you, 5 years ago, the negative self talk in my head was horrible.
Mhm.
Because if it didn't look like it, I'd beat myself up for it. What's
Okay.
wrong with me? Why, especially before my 50s, what's wrong with me? What do I need to do better? How can I improve myself for this person or work? Or, we're so used to, as a culture, grinding and Black women putting it on our back and just going.
Right.
After 50, and especially lately, no. Just because a piece of art doesn't sell doesn't mean it's not a beautiful piece of art.
Right.
Just because, you hit highs and lows as a self-employed doesn't mean that my services aren't great.
Right. Right.
Just
And that's
because
what
I
I had to
gain
tell
weight,
myself.
just because I gain postmenopausal weight doesn't mean I still ain't cute.
We're gonna talk about that on one of the shows.
Don't mean I still ain't cute.
Right.
But
Right. And that's
before
what I had
it, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say that's what I had to tell myself about YouTube, because YouTube, as you know, just like with social media, can be brutal. And I would look at my numbers and I'm like, maybe I'm not heading in the right direction. And I finally had to tell myself, you know what? You're going to talk about what you want to talk about, what you think is valuable and what you know about, but you're not going to worry about these numbers. It's going to
You
happen when
can't
it's
you
supposed to
can't worry
happen.
about the numbers because
Right.
I've seen posts and I'm like, how do they have millions of views? What are you just walking down the street? If I walk
Exactly.
down the street, I'm just gonna get 200. It makes no sense.
No sense.
So do it because I create my art. That's why I said there are pieces that have to be born. I was told their Last Supper is a 13-foot by 6-foot canvas.
Right.
And I was told I should have put more effort into these easier pieces to make money. I actually had my solo art show so that piece could be born.
Okay.
So do it because you want to do it.
Right. Right.
And in
And that
time, whatever's supposed to happen will happen.
Right. And that's even reinventing yourself. Do it because you want to do it, but also because it's going to make you feel better as a woman. It's going to make you, I believe, come more alive and not be stuck in the same thinking process, the way you look, the way you view the world. So that's important as well. Yes, do it for yourself, but take the chance and do it.
You have to if I hadn't done my art, you wouldn't have that painting hanging behind you.
Right, you guys can't see it, but yeah, it's a
You could
beautiful.
see the bottom of it still.
Right?
I'm just saying, I wouldn't have, there are pieces that I have pieces of, I have pieces in the States, I have pieces in London, I have pieces in France.
Mhm.
That's a blessing. It's leaving behind part of a legacy. You have to take, if I hadn't, I know for a fact, if I hadn't left corporate America, I probably would have had a heart attack.
Mm.
And I would
Yeah.
not be here.
Yeah. Yeah. You were going through some serious health issues, yeah.
Having COVID gave me high blood pressure. It didn't allow, I was not handling stress well.
Right.
And my job was stressing me out to where one night I didn't think I'd wake up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have to live for yourself. And yeah, I've had extreme highs and extreme lows.
Yeah.
But would I go back? No. Do I
Mm-mm.
regret what I did? Absolutely not.
Right. Because it pushed you to reinvent yourself. And that's the word for today, ladies. Reinvent
Reinvention.
yourself. Reinvention, reinvent yourself, redefine, however you want to word it. So, some questions.
Yeah.
What makes reinventing so challenging for Black women, in your
Well, I think it's
opinion?
the expectations that are put on Black women, period.
Mhm.
We are the blueprint, we are the standard, yet we get disparaged because of being the blueprint and being the standard. We
Right.
can't wear our braids, but some of another culture can wear our braids to corporate America and be just fine.
Yeah.
We are the most disrespected in this country, yet we set the standard. And so, and we put the world on our backs.
Right.
The one thing after this election I noticed is the 92% have said enough. We're not doing it. We're resting because
Yeah.
we have done it for years and years and decades, and it's not changing. It's your
Right.
turn. And I've seen so many posts talking about we're selfish, we're this, we're that, because we're not doing what they want. We're putting ourselves first. So we have been, don't let me get too deep on you, but we have been conditioned to be
Mhm.
caretakers.
Yep. Yeah.
As from enslavement times, which passes on to generation after generation. Who was
Right.
raising the children that weren't our own? Who was nursing them? Who was taking care of the house? Who was taking care of everybody? Because we wouldn't hopefully, cause an uprising. And that caretaking has been passed on to where it is embedded in us.
Right.
It's hard for me, even at the store, if I see someone struggling, not to
do for, right.
I have to go, stop, don't.
Real quick, Doghouse Film said your art
Mhm.
pieces are amazing. Ah, you know who that is.
Yes.
Hey,
What's up,
Chris.
Ninja?
And we have Christian. Hey, Christian, you finally caught a live. Well, thank you
Yay!
for
Welcome
joining
on Catching the
us.
Live with me. Hi, I feel special.
Thank you for joining us. But you're absolutely right. It's challenging, yeah, because we think of ourselves as caregivers. We think of ourselves as,
And
being the role model in the community, and
oh,
that
we can't
doesn't
do
leave
no
us
wrong
time.
because the
Yeah.
whole black,
Paycheck
the whole
lounge.
black community is gonna fall because we messed up.
Right.
We're the
Right.
we are one of the only cultures that do that. It's like it's not a
Right.
singular. When one black person messes up, all black people mess up.
Oh, right.
And
Right.
I'm just like, no, but also too, when you become a mother, then it's you got to put your kids before yourself. When you have a career, we've got to work and be the best at the career.
When you
Where
become
is
a
any of that?
wife,
Where
you
is
know
that
that when
talking
you become
about?
a wife,
Where
you
you
put your
become a
husband
wife
first.
and or a partner, or a life partner, you
Right.
put the other person first. Where is putting yourself? And we've been trained or brainwashed or whatever you want to call it, that putting ourselves first is selfish, and it's not.
It's not. No.
Putting
Well,
yourself first, like they say, I remind myself all the time on an airplane, the plane's going down and the mask
put
come
your
down,
mask
put it
on
on
first.
yourself first before administering to children and the elderly. That's real.
Right. Right.
That's real, because we'll put it on everybody else and then pass the hell out and be like, somebody gonna carry us, and then we like, nobody gonna care. You wake up and everybody gone, and it's like,
Right.
did
What
you
happened?
forgive me?
Can someone come get me? Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's part of it, is the challenging. And then it's also the biggest thing too is the negative self-talk in our heads,
Yeah.
because it's what we
Mm-hmm.
don't say out loud. We
Mm-hmm.
don't speak it, but we say it to ourselves. Oh, I can't, I'm too old. Oh, I can't do that.
Oh,
Oh,
and yeah. Okay.
it's too
Right there.
hard. Oh,
Right there. You and I were talking the other day, and I said, Catrice, I am now 2 years away from 60. And I have to stop thinking, okay, my timer's running out, my time is running out, and just live my life and do what now makes me happy. I still try and do for hubby and be there for the kids, but it's time to reinvent again and do for Angela. Because yeah, I'm getting ready to hit up on 60 in a couple years, and we're gonna be celebrating 60 in Portugal.
okay,
But
okay. I will be there.
but
60 is gonna be back in Greece, baby.
well, I'll
My
be there too.
60. So you gonna be there too. But come on.
But yeah, we have to stop thinking that, oh, time is running out, and just live our life. Because yeah, you keep thinking that time will run out. You
Well,
put that in the universe, time's gonna run out.
but also today is a gift. That is why it's called the present.
Right.
Tomorrow's not promised for anyone. So to live your life thinking that time's running out or I have time,
Hmm.
you are deceiving yourself, because you don't know how much time you have. And Kristen, thank you for agreeing with me. But
Right. And she says, Christian says 60 is the new 20.
facts, but we don't know how much time that we have. You don't. And
Right.
if you are not diligent and remembering that today is a gift, live in the
Right.
present moment, don't
Hmm.
put it off, you're
Right.
going to miss out on a lot of stuff. Now, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean because we are over 50, like you got to work for it. Like if I don't work out, I hurt.
Right.
So
Right.
I have to work out. I have to do I can't be sedentary because I did that.
No.
I
Right.
have to do my my goal is 10,000 a day, but a minimum 5,000 to 8,000 steps a day
Right.
just to
A
keep my
day.
body moving. You have to eat better because it's when you say reinventing yourself, I have to say it. Your body's reinvented itself anyway over 50. Post
Menopause.
menopause, your body reinvented itself because I can't
It
eat
did,
meat products
yes.
like I used to. My body said, "What?" I'm like, I
Right.
did keto, and I told my doctor this was like 3 years ago. I did keto, and I gained weight. I'm like, how am I gaining weight? Everybody losing weight. I do keto, I gain. Doctor said, your body's not metabolizing meat products, so truthfully, you should be more plant based.
Mm.
He's right. Now I still eat some animal products, but
Mm.
I am more conscious about. Like yesterday, it was the baby's birthday party. I had cupcakes and pizza. Yeah, I
Ooh,
had fun. But my stomach said, "Girl, what's wrong with you?"
girl.
It said, "Girl, we ain't young no more." Girl, my stomach was heavy. I felt lethargic
Yeah.
because our body's already reinvented itself. So why not reinvent your mind? We remodel our homes, we upgrade our cars, we redo our wardrobe,
Right.
but we are not the same. And we have to acknowledge that and
Right.
embrace it
And
and
embrace
even
it.
do more to take it to the next level.
How do you think we can reframe aging? Meaning, how should we be looking at as women, Black women getting older? How to reframe that aging mentality? Because again, like I said, I was like, I'm 2 years away from this next decade of my life, but I have to look at it differently, and I have to not focus on that number so much. Yes, the number is there and it's going to be there, but we need to learn how to reframe aging in a more positive manner. And unfortunately, being in this country, we're just going to say it, they don't value aging. We
No.
look at the young like, "Oh, I wish I was that age again," and blah, blah, blah. And honestly, no, I don't. I don't wish I were in my 20s, but we have to think about aging in a different way. How do you think we can?
Well, one of them we have to start with aging is a blessing. My
Yeah.
mother didn't make 45.
Mm,
I'm honored and proud to be 56.
yeah.
I can't wait to be 60 because my
Mhm.
mother didn't make 45. So I
Right.
celebrate every year because there are people who don't.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, you have to explore what truly fulfills you. And I say that because I have wealth of wisdom within me. You have wealth of wisdom within you.
Mm,
My children ain't ready to hear that wealth.
no.
It's not like when I was younger, I would listen to the stories my grandmother gave me. I wish my mother was here to give me some stories.
Right.
It's a different time, and there's nothing wrong with that. I've learned they want to figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people, I don't want to bump my head if I ain't got to. So tell me if the ceiling is low, and I will duck. I don't want to bump my head and go, oh, I got to duck now.
Yeah.
Tell
You
me.
better than you better than me because I was hard headed. I still am hard headed. I'm not gonna lie. I
I
still
would,
like bumping
yes,
my
I
head
know,
every
and I've
once in a while.
experienced the hard headedness. You like, I want to figure it out on my own. I don't. You got a secret? Tell me. You know a better path? Tell me. Oh, if I take that one, I get there quick. Boom, I'm on it. But that mentality, especially, but because of that, and I say this, I'm like, yay, I've got the wisdom because we are becoming the elders. Our elders are
Mm,
passing on. We're
right.
the elders. The mantle's being passed. I'm like,
Right.
I want I want to share my wisdom. And they be looking at me like, "Mom, we don't want to hear it." I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
who wants to hear it? And I have to
And that's why I have this podcast.
true,
So
but also finding what fulfills me first. Because
right.
again, me sharing my wisdom
Mhm.
is me caregiving. I'm trying to make it easier for the next person. I'm trying to make it easier for other people. That's
Right.
caregiving.
Yeah.
Whereas, yes, you're right. Your podcast, yes, I'm in therapy. I have a therapist. Oh, Kristen, thank you. Kristen said she want to hear, but I have a therapist. Her wisdom is amazing. We
Yeah.
have Miss Elaine's wisdom. She wrote some books,
Yes.
is amazing. I tell
Yeah.
them both, y'all need to do some podcasts so that even if no
Yes.
one listens, it's been captured like a time
Yes.
capsule.
Yes.
And even if it
Yes.
reaches one person,
Yeah.
two people, whatever, it's
Yeah.
there and it's available. So reframing aging from, I mean, yes, you can either embrace the gray like Angela, or you can keep buying some dye like I, or it's okay as long as you're happy, right?
Right. Right.
As long as you're happy. I mean, my hairdresser, I told my hairdresser, I want to go white, like white hair,
Yeah.
white, my weave white. She's like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm like, but I'm like, maybe. She's like,
It
I'm not doing
right.
it.
I mean, it might look amazing, but
No,
you
I
got
know,
to
but she's
try it. You
like,
know.
she's with the same thing. It's like we were taught, you don't let your grays show, you know, or but it's a sign of wisdom. It's just embracing yourself and where you are.
Yeah.
And then if you still want to work out, you want to do the face yoga, all the things,
Mhm.
do those, because when you're aging, don't mean you're sitting on a couch eating bonbons doing nothing.
Uh, am I having feedback?
I don't hear you.
Echoing? You don't? Okay.
I hear
If you
no
guys are
echo.
hearing echoing, let me know
And
because
yes,
I'm hearing it
Kristen, I
on
agree.
my
Gray
end.
hair is beautiful.
Yes.
Underneath my weave, I'm 70 to 80% gray, and it's that pretty sprinkle silver. But no, I'm not red yet. I like my purple. You can't really see
Hey,
it in this lighting.
I just let mine go. You seen that?
Hmm.
What not even last this year. I just
Hmm.
like, you know what, forget it. I'm tired. I'm tired of doing it.
Hmm.
But
No, and I
but it's
understand.
easier when it's shorter. It's easier when it's shorter to let it go. So
But that's why I'm saying embrace who you are, how you
embrace who you
are.
are. Yeah. So what do you think the benefits are of reinventing ourselves? What are some for you and your own personal
Freedom,
reinvention?
freedom, freedom
Mm-hmm.
and courage. I have a level of courage that I didn't
Ooh.
have before because I'm
Yes.
free.
Yes.
Because I'm
Yeah.
continually reinventing myself. I'm not afraid. It's like, oh, I did art.
Yep.
Oh, you know, once I've done this, it's like I'm not a. I mean, doing a painting that was 13 feet by 6 feet when my canvas was this 16 by 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's scary. I didn't know what I was
Mhm.
doing. Hello, but I wasn't afraid. It was like, well,
Yeah.
I did this. Ain't no reason why I can't do that.
And it impacts your mental health in a positive way.
It really does. So there's a
Because I was
lesson.
gonna say, when you were doing your art,
Mm.
that's when I saw you the most at peace.
Oh,
Your
because
mental
I told
health.
you it's art therapy. I'm
Right.
releasing all of the negativity, all of the stress, all of the things. And
Right.
I was also was doing it towards a goal, which was my
Towards
art
a
show.
goal.
And
Yeah.
please know, I am a new artist. Like I said, I started in late 2020.
Mhm.
I didn't start showing in galleries to 2020, January 2023.
Mhm.
And I had my own solo exhibition the end of 2023 that
You
I
did
put in motion by just saying, I want to have an art show.
and you did it. You
And I
did
did
it.
it. And I did
You
it.
did it.
It's so that's what I mean by the courage.
Mhm.
I'm not I'm not scared. Yes, I'm still scared of some things. Yes, I know that there will be, but if I want to
Challenges. There are
try
gonna
it,
be challenges.
there's going to be
There
challenges. But if
there's
I want to,
challenges to reinventing yourself, definitely.
yes, yes. But it gave
Definitely.
me courage and the freedom to just be myself.
Do you think having a support system while you're reinventing yourself is important? And
So,
who do you think your support system should be?
so truthfully, your first support system should be yourself.
Mm,
You
okay.
have to believe in yourself. You have to love yourself. And that was part of my reinvention, was truly understanding loving myself, because loving yourself means, yeah, it's a cliche, but you have to, when you love yourself, you like yourself, you protect yourself, you respect yourself, and
Mhm.
you put boundaries up from harmful things, and you pay attention to your intuition more. So more. Because
Yeah.
we typically with my intuition, oh no, it's not that. And I should have listened and be like, oh yeah, it was.
It
So
was.
the first person is yourself. You have to be your own biggest cheerleader. The way you are caregiving for other people, you have to caregive to yourself.
Yeah.
And the other support is finding people who, because again, not everybody on your boat is rowing with you. Some of them are going to put some holes in that boat, trying to sabotage you, and
Right.
all of those things. So you have to your intuition. But for me, my circle was small. You were one of my support systems. I told you what, like for my art show, can you stay on me? Ask me what, and you would text me, what you doing for art today? And you would encourage me. Even with the reinvention, we started with the learning how you taught me how to run because I wanted to know how to run.
Oh yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
start of that.
We start. Yeah.
But again, that's having people in your corner who believe in you because, and I say this because I've experienced it, you will have valleys low.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You will get low because
Yeah.
you've lived most of your life doing it one way and you are reinventing the pathways in your brain to something new. And you can
Yeah.
get stuck. And
Mm-hmm.
having people like your husband call me and say, Ninja, what you doing this weekend? Get out your house, bring your
Right.
butt over, because
Right. Right.
you've been in your house too long.
Yes, he did.
I don't care. I'm tired. I don't care.
I don't
You can
care.
sleep here.
Get
You ain't
on.
got nothing to do. Those,
Right.
you need the real deal who will tell you about yourself,
Yeah.
who will
Yeah.
tell you about yourself.
Yeah.
And be open to releasing people who are not there for you.
Who do not serve you. Right.
And that
Right.
might be family, that might be a closest friend. You have to, because as you evolve, other
Mm-hmm.
people are going to want you to stay. You're
Yeah.
changing your dance moves. We was doing a two-step, cool, and now you just popped in with the salsa. And they like, salsa don't work. This don't work with the two-step.
Right.
And they
Right.
like, we
Right.
don't want a salsa. Well, okay, we could kasamba or we can merengue, but I ain't going back to this two-step.
Right.
And if they
Right.
want to stay with the two-step, let them stay with the two-step.
And also, I mean, and that just basically like-minded individuals. That's really helpful because you and I were and still are, um, on the same page. Not on everything, but on
Not
most
everything,
things.
but that's where the challenge comes in. Where the like-minded came in is we both want each other to succeed.
Right. Right.
And we are both trying to do things to succeed.
Exactly.
Well, you and I
Exactly.
sitting on the I mean, yes, you can have a supporter that's sitting on the couch too. Don't get it twisted.
You tell me to sit down sometime. Girl, sit down.
Girl, please, this woman don't ever stop. I'll be over her house tired looking at her. And I'm the one with ADHD. I'm her hyperactive one. And I'll be tired looking at her, be like, can you sit down? Can you just sit in some silence? Just for a
I
second?
know. I know.
Oh, Mr. Ain't nothing wrong with the two-step, boy. That's because
No,
your
for a
wife doing the
drummer, that's
two-step
all
with
you
you.
can do is a two-step.
Thank you. You only know the two-step. Most rhythm lacking is person I know who be
Right,
defying
drummer.
the rhythm. I got your moves on tape. Don't make me pull them out.
So, yes, surround yourself with supportive, like-minded individuals that will foster your growth and your confidence. Because I tell you, I go back to this because 2 years ago, I would have never thunk that I'd be sitting doing a podcast or writing a book or now talking about, okay, what's our next venture, KATRECE? We're gonna, start, some courses, and then we want to take it to
She be
having
hitting me up with
wellness
so many different
retreats.
things. I want to do this and this and this and this. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, I'm sleepy right now when I see this thing.
She should
I'm
have.
like, I will
I'll
read it
call you
when
later.
I'm in work mode because right now I'm in chill mode. That's why I say she don't be. I know how to chill.
No, I
This
don't.
one,
I do. I need to learn to chill. I do. I do.
I've learned to chill. But I'm gonna get you on a beach somewhere and to chill you out. But
Exactly.
yes,
Exactly.
absolutely. You have reinvented yourself. You have stepped
Yeah.
public speaking up for yourself.
Yeah. 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 So, what are some small steps to start reinvention? What were your small steps?
Small steps. Um, if you see something you want to try or do it.
Mm.
And one of the first things that's easiest way to do it, because I know so many people who don't do this,
Hmm.
is date yourself.
You've talked about that a
I don't
lot.
care
You
if you're
said
in a
that.
relationship, take yourself out on a date. Take
Hmm.
yourself out to dinner. Take yourself out to the movies. Take
Right.
yourself out and get dressed up for yourself.
That's right.
Please, my first date by myself sure did wear some hot shorts and some 4-inch heels. Sure did. And it was me and a book at that dinner table. But take yourself out on a date.
Right.
And I don't mean on a date where you're on social media. Look at me. No.
Right.
Reading a book, cool. Go to a concert
People
by yourself.
watch. People
Oh, I
watch.
love people watching. Go to a
Yeah.
concert by yourself. First step is enjoying your own company.
Mm.
Because once
Yeah.
you enjoy your own company, your everything just glows better.
Yeah. Yeah.
You because once you enjoy your own company, you hear your inner voice for yourself better. You will, because we all have that inner little child in us that gets scared and worried and all of those things.
Right.
You really can't hear that little inner child until you hear yourself. And you can't hear yourself if you don't know yourself. And you don't learn yourself unless you spend time with yourself. So one of the
Exactly.
easiest steps is start dating yourself. Have some
Hmm.
me time.
And then you
Um,
figure out what reignites your passion. You
and
know, you start to.
start to, or and that you can use if you don't want to journal. Some people like journaling with a pen. There are, you can pull up a note app on your phone and type
Yeah.
thought, because what happens is you start getting thoughts in your head and you want to get them, put them down. A lot of people don't know
Hmm.
it. I'm a poet. I write
Yeah.
poetry.
Mm-hmm.
When I am journaling, I tend to write poetry. Don't know if
Mm-hmm.
that'll ever come out, but yes, I write poetry. I mean, I have posted a couple, but I have a lot. I have some poetry, but that came out from me journaling. And I journal to myself.
Oh, sorry, you guys.
What?
I'm being harassed. Don't you see Bentley? You missed him. he,
Hi, Finley. He wants to see his auntie. It's
he
okay. I miss you too,
was
boo.
standing right here just looking at me, and I'm
He
like,
missed his auntie. It's okay. Hi,
uh,
Bentley. But
Christian says she wants to see your poetry. Oh, you a poet? Yeah. See, I want to do that. That's what she said. She said I want to do that.
oh yes, yes. And the way you start with poetry is just writing, because that's all poetry
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to rhyme. It doesn't have to, I mean, some can, but it's it's a way to release the emotions in you.
Right.
So one of them is so date yourself, learn yourself,
Mm-hmm.
journal. I know everyone talks about journal. You don't have to do pen and paper. You could do, like I said, one of my journals is on my phone. It
Right.
goes back to 2013. um what's the other things? Understand and know that even with the baby steps, there is going to be resistance.
Oof. Yes, because that brain of ours is like, you know what? You're doing something too scary, and I don't like this, and it's going to revert back because our brain is trying to protect us.
And
So,
the people around us also are going to have that same reaction, like, this is new, we don't know you. I've had people want to do interventions with me because they like, you different. I'm not on drugs. I don't need a drug intervention.
right, right, right.
it's
I'm
it's
just
it's called,
rediscovering
how
who
about
I
you
am.
it's called get to know me for who I am.
Exactly.
Get to
Yeah.
know the new, because that's the thing. Get to know the new me. Because
Hmm.
change, for a lot of people, don't like change. A lot of
No.
people, change is scary. And just like when you're remodeling a house, some
Mm.
people do surface remodeling where they just do a coat of paint, call it a day. And then some people like, I want to tear down the wall. And then when you tear down the wall, you need to, oh shoot, we need to do new wire. It comes up with a whole plethora, Pandora's box of, oh, you got to fix the plumbing. You got to fix the wiring. It can be even worse.
Right.
But when the work is done, it's amazing. I mean, that movie, it's an old movie. Since we're over 50, y'all should know. Money Pit with Tom Hanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bought a beautiful place. And the more money they poured into it, the more money it sucked up. But
And the older we get and the longer it takes us to the longer it takes for us to what's the word I'm looking for? You were just saying remodel. The more remodeling we have to do. So if we can start this process before we hit our 50s, before we hit our 60s,
that's why I want to share my
reinventing,
wisdom.
then it makes it easier.
That's why I like sharing my wisdom. I'm like, if I would have known this at 30, because again, you are not the same person you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Your body and mind is reinventing itself regardless if you input or not. So the benefit is provide the input so that it's an upgrade instead of a downgrade or a bitter. I'm going to call it bitter grade. Because you be getting bitter. You know, a lot of people, when they get older, they got this look, Angela, they frowning.
Oh, I know. Yes. No,
when they get older.
No, you got to keep
that.
that.
I'm going to tell you what, in my opinion, because I've talked to them, that's the mental, that's their inner voice has gotten negative.
Yes.
Instead of smiling.
Instead of smiling.
Just staying smiling. Because that's face yoga now. That you smile, you working the muscles.
Working them muscles. And you need to start small, but stay intentional. You don't have to do big changes. Start with small changes. Like you said, the journaling. Figure out
setting a goal, you know.
Like I said,
my goal with my first paintings were for my grandchildren.
Right.
I wasn't trying to become an artist. My goal is to be an artiste. No, my goal was I want to make my baby a painting. And then it was so much fun. I was like, who else want a painting? Who want a painting? Anybody want a painting?
I have 3 originals. Yes, so I have 3 originals. So when she get big, y'all, I'll be having $1 million paintings, originals on my wall.
You already got some money on the paintings because my cheapest painting now is 4 figures, and I'm working my way to 5. So anyway, so but that's what I'm saying. You have to, if your goal, like you reinvented yourself when you did the bodybuilding, Angela.
Oh yeah,
I know that was a lot. But you still had to pace it. There's got to be a pace, right? I'm redoing myself. I'm finally into, because I tried it before, I didn't like it, but I see the benefits now of intermittent fasting.
Okay.
And a lot of it isn't for weight loss for me. It's because when you hit the 12th and 14th hour, your cells start to repair themselves.
Yes.
I don't need my cells to help repair. When you're grazing all day, your insulin level spikes, which can lead to adult diabetes, because you're forcing your body to produce insulin all the time. And then 2, you're not giving your body a chance to repair.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm doing it because if I lose weight with it, which I am, great. But a lot of it is I also feel better. Angela will tell you I was struggling with the walking. I was doing all that art was great, but all I did was sit, which caused some atrophy.
Yeah.
And now that I'm doing all of these things for my health, that's the other thing. You have to plan it out. So I want to play with my grandchildren. I want to go back to Greece and walk around, back to London, do all the things that I'm going to do.
All the things.
So you have to, if you have a big goal, like Kristen said something about a vlog, if that's your goal, that's your goal. What are the steps that you need to do to get there?
Even if it's buying the proper mic. And you need to make them small, because I think sometimes we get so big on our goals. And I know I do it. We get so big and then we don't know how to break those goals down into smaller bite-sized goals. We get frustrated and then we're like, I'm not doing it. So sometimes you need that person like you're my person to say, and Pierre, my person to say, okay, let's scale it back a little bit. Let's start with the baby steps and then work
Pierre's
towards.
scary. I'm sorry. He's scary. I need to get in his head. I said it. You watching it. You scary. No, I'm just playing.
But yeah, we need to take it one step at a time and not and enjoy the process of reinventing yourself. That's another thing.
Key.
Don't
Enjoy the process. Even the valleys low.
mm,
We as this country especially is fast food. We want it
mm,
right now.
mhm.
And when
And it
we
don't even have to
get
be healthy or nutritious. We just want it now.
we want it right now. And then when what happens is when we get to the valleys low, you don't want to sit in it. We want to we want to some people you I forgot the word, but they'll use alcohol, they'll use drugs, they'll use sex, they'll use going
Right.
out, they'll use people instead of sitting with that
Mm,
muck and that mire and
mhm,
why
mhm.
you are feeling that way
Right.
and listening to you, because that's also key too. I had to sit with myself
Yeah. Yeah. And
and
that's hard.
list what
Yeah,
was my
Christian
voice
addiction.
saying, what is my voice saying to me, what it
Right.
I'm single. I have been single for 4 years, and in the beginning, before that, when I was single, I'd be like, well, why doesn't anyone want to date me? Why am I not pretty enough? What am I not doing now? Because I've sat and I've sat with myself.
Yeah.
I don't care, because the one that's for me will be there for me.
Well, be
If
there.
it doesn't work out, because that's the other thing. If it doesn't work out, then I appreciate to get to know that person and the lessons. Like I started talking to someone because I just started dating this year. Started talking to someone, and he taught me about self-protection
Right.
in a way no one else has. And then I was attacked by a pit bull. His knowledge helped me protect myself against a pit bull. But as we kept talking, I was like, yeah, no, we don't mesh well. Great
Right.
person, but not for
Mhm.
me.
Not for you.
And
Right.
instead of going, I gotta make this work, because in this country you have to be with someone. I was like, no, I'm not
Right.
settling. I appreciate I appreciate the time we spent, but I love me and respect me. But that took
Mhm.
time and small steps of dating myself, of
Right.
embracing the reinventions of this is who and accept it, because when you reinvent yourself, you're going to get opposition. So you have to like yourself and who you're
Right.
becoming so
Right.
that you don't revert.
Right. Right. Exactly. Another thing we definitely have to do when we're talking about reinventing is we have to take a leap of faith, because you're not going to do it unless you take that leap of faith. I mean, you got to step out your comfort zone. If that means, moving to a new city, starting a business, joining a group that challenges you. I mean, I'll be taking another leap, and, hopefully hubby and you will join me
I'm
when,
joining. You keep saying hopefully. I'm moving out. Talk about
hey,
I'm
moving
out. When we
to
leaving?
another
I'm just
country.
gotta. I'm putting stuff. I'm trying. I want to get stuff in place so that I'm ready to when you ready. And Kristen, thank you
So,
about the football. I'm actually okay. But again, that
yeah,
came from listening. Instead of taking every relationship as forever, taking the wisdom that comes from it. But
yeah,
yes, it's
yeah.
a leap of faith. It's a
It's a leap of
huge,
faith. Yeah,
huge, huge leap
you
of faith.
have to. You have to, because if you don't, then you won't move forward. You won't do things that are different. You're going to stay stagnant. You're going to stay in the same place.
You're
And
gonna
my
have
thing,
atrophy of your muscles,
right.
and your brain is a muscle.
Exactly. Exactly. And then, you don't want to get to age. And I used to tell Pierre this when we were much younger. You would tell him, I want you to go on tour. I want you to go on a true tour, even if that means you're going to be out of the house for a year or two. I want you to do that, because I don't want you to hit 60 and be mad that you didn't do it. or looking at me like I stopped you from living your goal. And that's what we have to do as Black women. We have to live our own lives and not, and I'm not saying that you don't take into consideration your, if you have a husband or significant other or children, but by the time you're hitting your 50s and 60s, either, you've done everything you can for everybody else. Now it's time for you to do for you, because you don't want to get to your deathbed or whatever and say, I didn't do what I wanted to do. Damn it. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
But
So you
that
have to take
but
that leap of faith.
you have to. I mean, you're talking about moving out of the country is a leap of faith. I moved out of the country, wasn't
You did.
didn't turn out permanent, but that was a leap of faith. I
Yeah.
I've traveled in leaps of faith. It's
Yes, you have.
I mean, gone back
Some
to
of the stories I could tell y'all, I'm like, girl, what are you doing? I'm going. I'm like, okay, girl. Okay. Just
shoot.
let me know when you land.
But same thing with my tech business. And please know,
Yes.
because of the opposition, that's why I said you have to find where it's coming from. I've been doing tech for over 10 years. And at one point, I was like, I don't want to do it no more. I'm done. Because it's frustrating. And then I realized in the nonprofit, because I used to be with nonprofits, every 5 years they do what's called a sabbatical. And it's so
Mm,
that you can
mhm.
just reinvigorate yourself because
Yes.
the work is hard. And when I said all of that, it was my 11th year. And I was like, this is what's wrong.
Mm,
This is why I'm feeling, actually, yeah, this is why I'm feeling this way. So
yeah.
I took a step back, and then I helped a client and who has got tech anxiety for days.
Mm,
And they were like, oh my God, thank you. You make me feel so much more at ease and comfortable. And that's why I do what I do. And I'm like, this is why I do it.
mm,
Again, the universe, spirit, God, whatever you believe in, will give you signs that you
mhm.
are on your path.
Christian, where did you move to? You said you moved out of the country last
Yeah, you
year.
said you was hella scared. Where'd you go?
Where'd you get? Yeah. But yeah. Um, yeah.
So
Everything you
yeah.
said, girl. Yeah, it's you have to not be afraid. And that's
Mhm.
hard. That's hard because you're right. You have people in your ear. You sure you want to do that? Did you blah blah, A, B, C, and D? Are you sure? And no, you're not always sure. You don't know how it's going to turn out, but you can't worry about every single detail when you're trying to do something different in your life. Oh, you moved to Denmark?
Oh,
Okay,
that's awesome.
okay,
Okay, I ain't mad.
okay.
That's on my
How
list.
oh, really? I never thought of Denmark. How do you like it? I'm looking
The
at
world is
Portugal.
on my is on my
The
list,
world.
Angie.
Exactly. Exactly. The world. Exactly. All right. So I'm going to give you guys some ideas on
Mm,
how to we talked about a few of them, but so there's some ideas that you can look into to reinventing yourself. Explore new interests, like we talked about, whether it's painting, cooking, photography, dance class, what a reading, if you enjoy reading, a book club, but try something new, try something that you haven't
and
done
if you
before.
don't know how, YouTube has so many tutorials on
Girl,
every damn thing.
YouTube University.
Thank you.
Take be a lifelong learner. I know I am. I mean, I'm always sending her always sending her YouTube videos because I love YouTube. I do. I could just listen to YouTube all day, but there's so much information.
There is so much information out there.
Right. So take online courses, take workshops. I want to get my certification. I haven't done it yet, and I procrastinated. But I want to do a Scrum
Master.
certification. Yeah, Scrum Master. Yeah, I don't know what I would do with it, but it's like, hey, what the hell?
Oh, it's
It's a
excellent
2-day
knowledge.
course.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
it helps reframe your thinking with how you can complete tasks. It's actually really good
Okay.
information.
So that I want to go back and actually get a certification, even though I have my degree. I want to get a certification in coaching health health and wellness. Even though I have my degree, I haven't used it, so I want to refresh all that. So I want to get a certification there. So be a lifelong learner. Start a new adventure. Explore mentoring, turning hobbies into a side hustle or small business. That's what really YouTube started off, and as a side hustle. Then I want it to be a business. Uh, Miss KATRECE and I are going to start, like I said, doing courses for women 50 and older. Um, More to come on that, but we're starting to branch off.
Hmm.
Focus on your wellness, like KATRECE said. Create
Challenge yourself with steps. Get some.
exercise. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
get you an
exactly.
Apple Watch, Fitbit. See how many steps you do naturally in a week, and
Right.
then increase that. So if you find yourself only doing 2,500, yes, there are people who push yourself to 3,000, and then the next week 4, and keep going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Walking, especially outdoors, is very mental
Yes.
health wise. It can be very help build your mental health.
Yeah.
Journaling, start writing your thoughts down,
Right.
even the negative ones. You
Even the
know,
negative ones. Yeah. Yeah.
plan a
So
date
improve.
night with yourself once a month.
Right. Right. Yeah, practice mindfulness, improve your nutrition, because especially at our age, we need to improve our nutrition. And especially in this country where they going to try and keep you sick. I sent them a video yesterday, and I know Miss KATRECE ain't watched it, but I sent them a video yesterday on our whole, because I used to work in the pharmaceutical industry. So I'm very aware of the pharmaceutical BS. And even the things that I heard from this guy, I'm like, I know that, but hearing it again, I'm like, you know what? I can't be in this country and as I get older, and this is the kind of healthcare system that I'm looking towards, even if I'm eating my best, even if I'm taking all the vitamins and herbs, I don't know if I want to be here because I know their agenda and I'm not down for that.
If
So
people remember, they they said butter was horrible for you. Switch to margarine.
mhm,
Everybody got to use margarine. They pumped
right,
margarine.
right,
Margarine
right.
is outlawed in other countries because it's not real.
It's not, yeah, exactly.
And now it's
I'm
butter
sure
is
Christian can speak to that. It's been living in Europe. I mean, they have a
now
lot of stuff
butter is
that
better for you. But for a minute
right.
there, you couldn't. Butter was, oh, it's so bad for
Oh,
you.
butter's bad. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we in the
No,
80s, that's
margarine
what we
was
grew up
bad for you.
on,
We were
margarine.
big old tub of margarine out that you buy
Yeah.
just for the container. But
Right, exactly. Expand your social circle, join community groups, attend events, or travel solo, like my girl, Miss KATRECE. Travel solo. Meet new people. Refresh your environment, update your wardrobe, redesign your living space. Do something that's different. Make a change. Step out of your comfort zone. So challenge yourself.
oh,
Do have
Kristen
new
never eats butter.
experiences. Huh? Oh,
Christian
you
says
never?
she. Well, I was comparing mud butter and margarine. If you're
Yeah.
plant based and you're eating healthier, I understand. But I was just,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But even now they have, I mean, because we do plant-based butter, and even some of those you got to be careful. You need to read those ingredients, but
Oh, oh,
they
read
make
the
it hard.
ingredients. That's the first step y'all can all do. Read your
Right.
ingredients. There's a
Right.
because this country will allow I'm telling you, living
Yeah.
abroad as I have how come I can go to London, eat the same thing and lose weight, come back here and I will gain weight?
Girl, girl, the
Just think.
few days we were in Portugal, the 10 days we were in Portugal,
We ate like a good, and
we
I
ate
came back and
good.
lost weight. We
Right.
ate good.
Right. And you were full. You were full. It wasn't like, oh God, I need another 4 pancakes. You ate one pancake. You're like, damn, I'm
But it's
full.
also it's the ingredients because
It's the
you don't
ingredients.
just look up
Exactly.
the frosted
Mm,
flakes for the United States and the frosted frosties for that they
something
make for Europe.
for
The
Europe. Yeah.
ingredient list is half.
Yeah. Right.
So it's
Exactly.
read your ingredients. That's a good step. Just right there.
Exactly. Exactly. Set personal development goals. Like Catrice said, work with a coach, create a vision board. but aligned to your values and dreams. And last
Speaking of
but not least,
coaching, that is something that I will be. Angela's gonna stay on me. 2025 is finally launching my personal coaching.
I've been trying to tell her, look, you need to post more about your art. You need to blah, 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 miss social media. And so I'm going to stay on her because her art's amazing. And I will be putting all her information. Actually, KATRECE, you can type on the
I'm in the thing, so you want me to put? I have it on my
put your
side.
put it
I'll put my website over there
put your website
for
on
both.
there, and then I also put it in the description. But anyway, and last but not least, revisit, I can't speak English today, old passions. So rekindle some hobbies that you had when you were younger, or that you might have had and dropped recently, um and the interest you love but you put aside. So yeah, revisit your old passions. And just again, make sure that whatever you're doing to reinvent yourself, you're doing it because you enjoy it, not because someone else says, well, you should do that. No, if you're listening to this, Black women 50 and above, do it for you. Make sure you're enjoying it. Do it for you, not for anybody else. And just get to know yourself again. And I think sometimes we forget to get to know ourselves. We forget who we are because we get so involved with everybody else, taking care of everybody else, that we have to come back to who we are and enjoy who we are.
You
Anything else
have
you
to
want to
embrace.
add?
You have to embrace. Well, before I say that, I will say that I put my stuff in the chat, just like you said,
Thank you,
for both
Mom.
my art and my tech. So if you ever need any tech assistance, I'm here.
She's amazing. She's my tech person.
And then if you need any for my art, if you want to stay in line for my coaching will be under my art because I'm going to infuse it with art. But
Yeah.
reinventing yourself isn't about changing who you are. It's just about elevating yourself to the next level.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, that's all we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
We keep rising,
Yeah.
and still I rise. You are still rising.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you might rise slow, sometimes you might rise fast, but you are
Yeah.
still rising, regardless if you do the work or not. The benefit of doing the work is you will find more joy, more
Mm-hmm.
peace,
Yeah.
and then when the mantle is truly on you, you're able to give back in a way that
Right.
if they listen, great. If they don't, I don't care.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So also, share with us some of your experiences, how you've reinvented yourself or what you plan to do. If you plan to reinvent, what are your reinvention steps? I'd love to hear them. We'd love to hear. And also, because this podcast is for and about, I shouldn't say just for, but about Black women 50 and over. If you'd like to come on and join us on this, podcast, I'd love to have you. Um, you can hit me up, you can email me and just let me know, hey, yeah, I'd like to be on your podcast, and then we can chat about it. And I will put my email information in the description. Um, let's see. I'll see if I'm not
Do you want me to
okay.
put it in the chat?
I
You are
think I
goodness
got it.
Vicky.
But yeah, hit me up and I would love to have you on because I am looking to speak to ladies and bring them on and tell us your story, and we can all learn from each other. All right.
All right.
All right, love. Well, thank you again for coming on. This is going to
Mhm.
be the end of this podcast. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And I look forward to seeing you guys and speaking with you guys again next week. All
Thank you,
right, you guys.
Angela.
Thank you, love. Talk to you later.
Bye.